Nate Helming here for competitor.com and the Run Experience. We're here talking about the benefits of fast running and slow running and how it can help you out in the long run. Here's the deal. Most of us spend the majority of our time running one speed, and that's that kind of easy medium gear where our stride length is always the same and our stride rate, our cadence is always the same. And then anytime we try to sprint or go a little faster, we worry about pulling a hamstring, or we just try to go faster for a race and it doesn't really happen. So we're gonna focus on stride length, stride rate, and our breathing to help develop those faster gears and those slower gears. All right, first thing we're gonna address is that speed, because we always wanna be a little bit faster. And this is what I see mechanically that we can work on and what plagues most runners. I'm a runner who spends most of their day not running, but sitting in a car, at home, on the couch, or at work, and I'm just stuck in this position. And what happens is that my quads get tight, my groin gets tight, my abdominals, believe it or not, tighten it up. My psoas, this deep hip flexor muscle, tightens up too, so that when I try to run and stand and get that extension, it's not really happening. So what we're gonna add is a simple leg swing. I'm gonna stand up tall, I'm gonna post up on this leg here, and I'm gonna put my hand on this right hip, and I'm just gonna start with a little leg swing back and forth. And first it's just gonna challenge my balance. And if I have this, can I swing a little bit bigger, forward and back, while keeping my hips square? This is trickier at first than you realize. This is what a lot of you guys are gonna do. I guarantee it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm swinging really well, right? I love this swing. But if you notice when I swung that way, it was actually all through the back. And I can't run this way every single time. It's not gonna go very well. So I wanna make sure I'm tall, belly's tight, and my hip here doesn't move. All right, the next thing that we're gonna develop is going to be our stride rate. So what that means is that I might run in place first, or just even jog slowly down the way. I'm in a video, so I'm gonna run in place. And for 30 seconds, I wanna count the number of times my right foot comes up off the ground. I'll take that number, I multiply by two, and that's gonna be my cadence for about that 60 seconds, and that's what we use for a benchmark. So for example, if I count to 45, I multiply by 2, that's 90. That means I have about a cadence of 90 for that right foot. Now some of you may count 180, which means you're counting both steps off the ground. Just know that 90 and 180 are really the same thing. Now a lot of you, when we run, we're a little tired, we're not really awake yet, and that cadence is a lot slower. So once again, I'm pounding, my foot's on the ground longer, I try to go faster, it doesn't really happen, and even when I'm running slow, I'm not that efficient. So this little exercise, for 30 seconds, I want you to do 5 by 30 second counting intervals. The first interval, you're just jogging slow, set your number. Maybe the number is 40, maybe it's 39. Take a rest, walk around for 30 seconds, repeat again, and this time your goal is to beat that original number by 1 or 2 steps. And I want you to keep beating that number so that by the 5th one, you are 5 or 6 steps faster than you were the first. But here's the rub, I don't want you to actually run faster. So what that means is if I'm running the same speed and I'm trying to increase my cadence, that stride length has to shorten a little bit. If I can start to do that, I'll start to train this higher cadence. It'll be in my hip pocket for more efficient, longer running. And then when I do need to turn it up for that finish line sprint, I'll be able to combine that high turnover and that big stride length for that monster finish. Now, this final step is going to be my breathing mechanics. And believe it or not, most of us really work on our breathing throughout the day. And in fact, most of us spend time in our car, hunched over, seated at the office, hunched over. I've been talking about it a lot, get the hint, right? And what happens is when I'm a little hunched over here, my breathing mechanics are off. I can't breathe deep into my belly, into my diaphragm. I only breathe shallow in my chest. And what happens is when I breathe all day long, shallow in my chest, I'm reinforcing to my body that that's okay. So that when I go out and run, guess where I am? I'm here. And I'm not able to get a full tank of gas, a full tank of air with every single breath. So With this breathing exercise, get up tall. I want you, as you go out the door, once again, we're gonna do 5 by 30 seconds, focused breathing, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. As you inhale, I want you to focus on breathing through your belly first, then your chest, and then on the way out, you're gonna breathe out through your chest, and then your belly. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Once we have that as a little baseline, I want you to go ahead and start your run. And as you go out and run, once again, for another 30 seconds, I want you to connect your breathing with your stride rate. I want you to see if you can breathe in deep through that belly for 3, 4 steps. It's gonna be different for every single person. And then breathe out again for 3 or 4 steps. How long can you hold on to that rhythm and connect your breathing with your movement? So there you have it, our 3 exercises that are really gonna help us develop our running speed all across the board. Speed is a relative thing. It's always relative to you, running a little bit faster, learning to run a little bit slower, and then really understanding the benefits of both those things. So once again, Nate Helming here for competitor.com. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.